What do you do if you want to get some crafting done while you're on the go? That's what happened to me. I'm vacationing in Florida and I had some projects that I needed to get done. So I had to improvise. I walked around my parents' house. I pulled out stuff I thought I could use, a blow dryer, a Swiffer cloth, all kinds of stuff. And I was able to create these 9 cards. So hang with me and I'll show you exactly how I got it done. All right, let's start with some easy background panels before we turn them into the cards. This is just some white watercolored cardstock that I brought with me on my trip, and I'm using some watercolors I brought as well. These are the ones from Altenew, but you can use anything. If I didn't bring this, I would have used the kids' watercolors my mom has here for the grandkids, Crayola. I just use what you got. I'm dropping this onto some watercolored cardstock that I did wet first. So I'm just dropping the paint in, and now we're going to get my mother's blow dryer. So I'm going to turn it on. There's no like nozzle in thing or whatever. I'm going to keep it on cool air. I'm not going to put it on hot like I would if I was actually blow drying my hair, but it's cold air. It's on the low setting, and I'm just basically pushing some of that paint around, and I will continue to push it around, and then I'll stop when I see where I liked where the paint has landed. I'm not going to blow dry this until it's completely dry because that will take forever, but I am going to use it to manipulate where the paint is. So I'm going to keep doing that, and once I'm satisfied, I will set it off to the side and let it dry naturally. So glad she had this blow dryer. So I'm going to do it again. This time I just sprayed a little bit of water, and that's just a spray bottle that my mom had in her bathroom, I guess, to use it to wet her hair or whatever. Maybe she waters her plants with it. I don't know, but I filled it with water, and I just put a little bit in the center of that cardstock, then dropped some green paint right on top of that, and then again I'm using the blow dryer to push it around, and I love the look of that. I thought that was cool. Now I'm just going in with pink. That looks so ugly. Woo, woo, woo. Again, I did wet the cardstock first. I do that because the paint can move a lot more freely and more easily if the paper is wet. And here I am. I turned it on high. So now I actually went to high setting, and I am pushing this stuff all over the place. Just moving it around, and I'll keep dropping paint wherever I feel like it needs it. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of blue. Just one color. This time I'm going to put it on high again and push it. And I got a nozzle on there. I think that's the nozzle you use to straighten your hair. So I stuck the nozzle on there, and I'm pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And this was actually a lot easier because I was able to push it and get those like spray marks almost, if you will, like drip marks, splatter marks. I don't know, whatever. But the blow dryer, it really worked out great for me. I loved it. Then I actually went and blow dried my hair for reals because that's what the blow dryer is for. I wouldn't use it for heat embossing because it's not strong enough. It doesn't get hot enough. And blow dryers, it really puts out a lot of air. So you saw my paint just blow all over the place. But hey, it worked for me now. So I'm going to take these panels and I'm going to trim them down to card size. Some will be 4.5. I'm sorry, 4.25 by 5.5, and others will be 4 by 5.25. This is some foam tape my mom had in her desk. It's not super dimensional, but it did raise it up just a little bit. If I didn't find the foam tape, I would have just taped a bunch of cardstock together to raise it up that way. I did want a little bit of dimension on the sentiment, and that's a sentiment from Altenew. Now, before I get on with more cards, let me quickly tell you about the on-the-go tips that I found. I had to rummage around my parents' house. For folding my card and scoring and folding, I like to have a nice crease. I usually use a bone folder, but I use this wonderful acrylic block instead. That worked great. I've got a water bottle full of water. I guess my mom uses it for her hair. I found this black Uniball pen, a microfiber cloth, and a Swiffer cloth. And that's what I'm going to use throughout the video. So hang with me, you'll see why. All right, so let's get on to the balloon bunch stamp set. And I decided to go in with one of these watercolored backgrounds that I did with the blow dryer. So I mounted these balloons onto my Misty, and I'm stamping with the black ink that I had brought from home. And I'm going to go ahead and use the microfiber cloth to press that down into place. I prefer to use a Swiffer, but apparently I threw it too far because I couldn't find it at the moment. So anyway, as I stamp this, I realized that star balloon, that little balloon tie thingy, whatever it's called, yeah, I stamped it wrong. It's on the side, needs to be on the bottom. So I'm going to grab this pen I gotta say, I love this pen. It just was in my mom's desk and it's going home with me because I'm taking the pen. So I'm gonna go over and kind of fill in that area where the little tie thing was on the side. And then I'm just gonna hand draw one in on the bottom of the balloon where it should have been. And that will be that. The recipient will never know the difference that I made a little boo-boo. My bad. All right, so once I've got that down, I'm just going to grab a piece of strip paper that I had left over from cutting down this panel, and I'm going to use that as a ruler to draw my balloon lines in, because yeah, I didn't have a ruler with me. But that worked out great, didn't really need one. And then I'm going to take the water and I'm going to spray the stamp, and the microfiber cloth is how I clean the stamp. So that's what the microfiber cloth is for, and that's what the spray bottle of water is for. And here's a look at this finished card. I think it's beautiful against that background there. Now let's talk about Fragile Foliage. This is a gorgeous, very simplistic stamp set. I love it, and it's going to pair perfectly with these two backgrounds here we made at the beginning of the video with the blow dryer, and this is just one color of one watercolor, one blue, and gosh, I still can't believe how easy that was to make. Anywho, so I'm going to line up these images where I want them to be, close the misty door, ink it up with some black ink that I had brought with me. And there's this card, Finito. All the supplies I'm using are linked below in the description for you. And here's a look at this card, simple and beautiful. And now this last panel, the green, I'm going to use the same stamps. I'm just going to arrange them differently. And I'm also going to turn the orientation of the card. So this is going to be a wider card. So the width is going width is going widthwise. Oh my gosh, the largest link is going widthwise is what I can't talk. Hello, start over. Anyway, I just flipped it. All right, so now it's 5.5 wide, 4.25 long. Okie dokie. So I went ahead and stamped this again using my trusty Misty, and that's it. Wada bang, wada boom, wada bang, wada boom. Okie dokie. So let's show off these balloons from this balloon set. I think it's so fun. I'm going to arrange them onto my card panel how I want them, close the misty door to pick them up, and I am going to use some colored inks that I brought with me. Altenew has released some media inks. I think they just arrived at the warehouse, so they didn't get to me in time to use them in this video, but I will be featuring them in a future video. So for this project, I used the inks I brought with me on my trip, and I decided to do a little rainbow order. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Don't forget the purple too. Ah. Anyway, all right, so there's the balloons. They're so much fun. I used Birthday from the Mega Labels set. Ignore the stamped sentiment. I decided I wanted a bolder birthday sentiment. I'm taking that pen that's going home with me that apparently I have a love relationship with, and I wrote the word happy. Don't judge me by my handwriting. I know it's absolutely horrible, but it's the best I can do. Terrible handwriting. All right, so I'm going to glue that down into place, and then I am going to flick on some black paint just by using the watercolors, watering it down, picking it up with my paintbrush, and just flicking on that black paint there. Now I'm going to use this wonderful Thanks die, also from the newest release, but I'm going to use it as a mask. So this is what it looks like when you die cut it. They also have one that says hello. And I'm going to use it as a mask, so I'm going to blend in a couple of purple inks right through that mask. And while I'm doing that, this is part of a video hop, which means there's lots of prizes to be won. So be sure to click on the subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell. And then in the description below is all the information on the giveaway. You know, you can win stuff. Hello, so be sure to read the description below for all that information. So I went in with the two purples, and I wanted the deeper purple to go around the word. So I'm kind of focusing on that, just kind of pushing my ink down, not necessarily going back and forth because that would have moved the words. And I'm going to take that water, using it to sprinkle it in my finger, and then flicking it onto the card because the ink is water reactive. And then I'll just dab any of the puddles of water away and then lift up my mask. I did dry it with I gave it a little dry with my blow dryer, just to make sure that the water droplets were visible, and they were. And now I'm going to put that right back in place and line it up just so I can take a black marker and, you know, trace around the edges that circle. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to fill in that circle real quick, make sure you know, if I tried to freehand that circle, it would not look good. So I did flick on some more black paint, and then I used the pen to create that border there. I'm digging the pen, I gotta say. The purple words, or the words had a little bit of purple in them, and I didn't like that. So I took another die, thanks die, and I just cut the word out of the circle. Then I'm going to take the black ink pad, and I'm going to basically color my white cardstock black because I didn't have any black cardstock with me. And I'm using my Misty Door to do all of that. That's kind of acting as my glass work surface that I have at home. Very useful, I gotta say. I've been using this in different ways instead of just stamping since I had to go outside the box and figure out how to work this. So I added some glue and then just kind of offset that just a tad to finish off this card, and I like it. I like the addition of the thanks. I like the pin marks on the left-hand side. I think this is a really fun card. We don't want to forget about the masculine cards. So I'm just going to take this gold ink that's from Altenew. I brought this with me. And I'm going to stamp on two of the balloons, the solid image and the one that has a little bit of the image showing through, which is great for coloring or just picking up the color of the cardstock that you're stamping on. It's this stamp right here. I just like the openness of it. And this card's going to be very, very simple. I wish I had some embossing powder and a heat tool, but I didn't. So first I'm going to stamp on the strings, and I've just grabbed a piece of paper out of the trash to work as my mask here. And in a perfect world, I would have loved to heat embossed a sentiment in white. I love, sentiments need to be easy to read in my opinion, which is why I usually do black or gray or white against a dark surface, but I didn't have that option. So what I'm going to do after I ink blended a little bit more gold on there is I'm just going to take a piece of colored cardstock that I had that I thought would be okay for a masculine type card, and I will stamp the sentiment on there with my black ink. And then to tie the gold together, I'm just going to do a little bit of ink blending with that gold ink again, just to tie the gold ink on the sentiment into the gold ink on the navy cardstock. And that's that. I'll just glue that down in place and this card will be done. Again, this is part of a video hop, so there's lots of prizes, lots of inspiration, so be sure to check my description below to find all the information there. And here's a look at all of the cards that I pulled together 9 cards at my parents' house, sitting on the floor, crafting on the floor. Never been so uncomfortable in my life. Just rummaging through their house to find things that would work. And, you know, ultimately I created 9 cards that I'm happy with. So I guess that's what really matters. But my back hurts, my butt hurts from sitting on the floor. Sometimes I would get on my knees and hunch over so I could see what I was doing. So what are you going to do? You do what you got to do to make cards, right? Here's a couple of videos for you to check out. Be sure to click on them. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like what you see. And leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I will see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.